should all be good. That should all be good on that side. It's all done on. That's all cool on this side. I think. Just need to do. That. So that's all nice in there. And then on this side, I think we're all good as well. Let's just double check. Oh, that's all good. That's perfect. Why is that one down there? No, it isn't. There. Actually, right. Actually, if I do this. There we go. That's all perfect. That should all be perfecto. Now, it's just about doing all of this. Do that one. And then is this one here as well. Let's check, and then bam, that should be done. Mohammed, what have you said? Hyped to see Shirky play in the big game again. That Swansea game has done him loads of confidence, fitness. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, with him coming back from injury, he hasn't actually been given that many meaningful minutes. Obviously, he looked good when he came on against Everton and was unlucky not to get a goal or an assist. And then you look at his performance against Villa. I can't really comment too much because I don't think anybody was that great in that game, if I'm being totally honest. But obviously he was very, very good against Swansea. I know some people say it's Swansea, they play in the Championship, he should be performing good, but he performed good nonetheless. Now we get to see Foden play in the midfield, right? Something that I think he's been very good at, sort of picking up the ball, running with the ball, distributing it well, sort of controlling the tempo of the game. He doesn't have to do that and also have the burden of creating, with Shirky being able to just sit in there in that 10 role and just feed the ball to Foden, to Haaland and to Doku, is how I think we will set up. I think although we're playing with what looks to be a 4-3-3 with the players that he's put out, I'd be very much, as you can obviously see here on the screen, I would very much see that Foden will probably play in the middle along with Nico, and then Bernardo who'll drift out to the right, with Shirky sort of staying in the middle, and Doku and Haaland obviously up top, Doku on the left and Haaland through the middle. I'm relatively happy with the lineup that we've put out. I'd say obviously Donnarumma is nailed on in the squad. Varlion nailed on in the squad. O'Reilly's there. Obviously, Ain't Nori's just come back from injury, got some minutes against Swansea. I probably wouldn't chuck him into this game as well. We don't have Kusanov in the squad. Diaz starting again. Diaz has been a bit iffy this season. Obviously Bernardo Silva's going to start. He's your captain. Actually, I'm going to quickly change that. Actually, I think 2 seconds. Where's what I'm looking for? Is it this one? I think it's this one here. It should be this one. I hope it's this one. I hope I've just clicked on the right one. Thoughts on Reiner's being dropped? I wouldn't say Reiner's been dropped. Although I don't think he was great, as I said in my watch long for the Villa game. I don't think he was great. But I think he's played too many minutes. Not too many minutes, but he deserves a rest, right? And I think when he comes back into the squad, when he comes back into the squad, he'll obviously hopefully be able to play his favoured sort of 8 position, because I don't think he's been as bad as people make him out to be. I just don't think he was good against Spurs, and I don't think he was good against Villa. I don't think there's any other game where I can say that he was awful, and I think the hate on him is very much sort of too much, and a bit of an overreaction. But yeah, I do definitely think that, you know, it's good to see him not play every game, because he doesn't need to play every game. Um, because no one other than 2 people in this squad, I don't think anybody should be playing every single game. That has updated. There we go. Yeah, I don't think there's really anyone other than Haaland. When I look at it, Haaland, Donnarumma should definitely be starting every game, if they're available. I just think it's about managing Vinder's minutes, and making sure he's 100% up to speed with what we want to do here. Because as I've said before, I'm not really too sold on his finishing, and I think sometimes his first touch is a little too loose, and he might not be the best at winning duels. But that's obviously something that can still sort of be improved on. I know he's, in his prime years, so you can't really coach him to do new things, and he's not in his development stage of his career. But there's definitely things that can be tweaked in his game, and I still think even at his age, there are things that can be worked on and improved on, and make him a very important player in the squad. I just think some of our fans have unrealistic expectations of every player that plays for this club, because you even see last season Haaland was getting a lot of criticism despite the fact that he was our top goal scorer. No one else was really pulling the weight until Marmoush came in January. And even then, Marmoush gets a lot of criticism because he might not be the best player on the ball. But if it wasn't for Marmoush, we wouldn't have got Champions League football. So I do think some of our fans are very reactionary on players, and the way they treat some players isn't the best. And I think that people need to sort of be realistic with their expectations. And I'm not saying that we should defend everything that happens, right? Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with the lineup. Um, I'm relatively happy with the lineup. I think we can definitely go and cause Bournemouth problems, but we've got to remember Bournemouth aren't like they're no slouch team. They're in very good form. They've been very good this season, despite missing key players. I did like a watch along of the first game of the season, here on the channel, talking about uh, Bournemouth, obviously, and how they kind of at the start of the game didn't really impress me, but they grew into it, and I'm quite impressed with what's going on over there. And again, a lot of people have to remember that there's no real easy games in this league anymore, despite the fact that when we were winning the Central, West Ham got a third goal. I didn't even see that. Fair enough. When we won the league with the Centurions, and then we did the 98-point season. The competition in the league wasn't that good. It wasn't that good, and that's not even me trying to undermine our achievements. I just think people need to now realize that 17, well, should I say no, 16 of the other 19 teams in this league are very, very good. Are very, very good. And there is no easy games in this league anymore. There are no easy games in this league. Like, even for Arsenal, who are in really good form right now, there are teams that are going to cause them problems. and it's not just the big six teams, because like the teams in this league now are very, very competent and very competitive, and that just shows by Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup last season, and obviously Palace, unfortunately, winning the FA Cup last season. Teams are here to compete now. It's not just the top six, and maybe even the top four winning trophies. Teams are here to compete, and now they're winning the domestic cups. Who know? Who knows? We've seen Leicester win the league before, like, and that obviously that was a bit of a miracle, but teams are going to come in and start challenging for the Premier League that haven't challenged for the Premier League before in the next few years, because the league's in a very, very good spot, competition wise anyway. Some people will tell you that it's not. Some people will tell you that the game's gone, but I don't believe so. When I'm looking at this, when I'm looking at the Bournemouth squad now, and obviously there are, like I've mentioned before, there are players in this team that are going to cause us problems. You got Tavernier and Semenyo on both wings, and they're both very dangerous and direct wingers that can cause our fullbacks, who aren't natural fullbacks, a lot of problems. I do fear a bit for Nunes having to come up against Semenyo. I think that could be a bit of a long day for him. Then you go into the midfield, and you've got Alex Scott, who is a very good player. He might not have had like the best. Sorry, I've just seen that final West Ham goal. That is criminal from Nick Pope. What has just happened? 1 moment, 2 seconds. Yeah, Nick Pope needs to be arrested. What I've just witnessed, that's nuts. That's crazy. But as I was saying, yeah, obviously we've got Alex Scott, very, very, very good footballer in there. Tyler Adams, someone that is, I wouldn't say underrated, but he is a good football player. I firmly believe that Tyler Adams is a good football player. You obviously move backwards. I don't think Petrovic is that great. Obviously he was let go by Chelsea, and you've seen what their goalkeeper situation looks like with both Jorgensen and Sanchez. You've got Adrian Truffet, that's obviously, I said, really impressed me in the first game of the season and has impressed many people as the seasons went on. There are players in the squad that can cause us problems, 100%. And do we have players that are going to cause them problems? Well, you'd like to think so in Foden, Doku, Shirky, Haaland. But it really depends on what City turns up, if I'm totally honest, because we know full well, and we've seen multiple times this season and last season, that we can be the most complacent team in the league, and some of our players sometimes still just expect to win every game just by turning up, and we kind of have to realise that that's not the case anymore. It's not 2017, it's not 2018, it's not 2019. Like, Manchester City don't just win games by turning up to the match. Like, work has to be put in. It's not as seamless and effortless as it used to be. Like I said, with the league being a lot more competitive and us just simply not being as good as we used to be. But I am optimistic, a lot more optimistic than I was last week. For anybody that was here last week, I obviously spoke that I wasn't very confident going into that game, and I wasn't a fan of that lineup. Obviously, we put in a very poor performance, and I was not too happy with what I saw from players out on that pitch. But two of the players that I was most disappointed in aren't in the starting lineup today, with that being Savinho and Weinders. Obviously, Weinders playing out of position, and Savinho was just abhorrent, absolutely abhorrent. Obviously, Oscar Bob left out of the squad again. I do feel bad for Bob. Obviously, missed a lot of football last season, basically the whole season, in what was meant to be his breakout season, but he's not really kicked on since coming back from injury, and he's even been called out by his national team manager. So I do expect improvement from him. Again, he's still only young, but you can't always use age as an excuse. Like, there's difference between being young and a raw talent, and being young and not good enough, or not performing good enough. Because I think Oscar Bob's good enough to play for Manchester City. I just don't think he's showing that at the moment. Yeah, and it's kind of the same with Savinho as well. And I've said my piece on Savinho multiple times, like, and it does get boring saying it. He's just like, if he just stopped running around like a headless chicken and stopped taking shots when he knows that he'd be better off crossing it, because he's got an absolute devastating cross on him. He's a very good crosser of the ball. Then we'd be in business. But like, sometimes he just doesn't think. He just doesn't think. He doesn't think before he does anything. And it puts us in stupid positions. But again, with none of the three players that I thought were the worst on the pitch today, I think we can definitely give ourselves a chance in this game. Again, we're at home. We're not playing at a stadium that we struggled at. Obviously, with that being Villa Park last week. And other than the loss at the start of the season, well, around this point last year against Bournemouth, we beat them in the FA Cup, and we beat them with that absolute spectacular Marmoush goal. And who else scored? It was Marmoush, Gonzalez, Nico G, and somebody else scored. I'm pretty sure, because I want to say it ended 3-1. I'm gonna quickly check that now, because I know Kovacic got sent off for an absolutely stupid tackle, but let's have a little look. It was 3-1. I'm sure it was 3-1. Is anyone in chat able to fact check that one for me? Because for some reason Google's not wanting to do it for me right now. Oh no, it was 3. Oh, Bernardo Silva. It was Bernardo Silva who got the second. Yeah, I do remember that, because I know Cook got sent off and I know Kovacic got sent off, and I remember Marmoush and Nico G scoring. I just couldn't remember who scored the second goal, but it was your boy Bernardo Silva. Just close all of these down. I don't really need any of these up. But yeah, again, we're around 15 minutes away from kickoff now. Any score predictions in the chat? We got any score predictions? Anybody think? Anyone think we're going to get a comfortable win today? Scrappy win? Or Bournemouth just going to walk all over us like Villa did last week? And that Villa loss hurts even more after seeing the disaster that Emi Martinez and the rest of the squad put out yesterday against a subpar Liverpool side. Well, not a subpar Liverpool side. They're a good Liverpool side in bad form, shall I say? Because they've got good players and they've got a good team. They just aren't in good form. A bit like us as well. You could say that. I just think we're in slightly better form. But that's going to mean nothing come this time next week. Which is a very, very big game. Very, very, very big game. But obviously we've got an even bigger game today, because it's the one that actually matters right now. It's the one that actually matters. But I will be live for that one as well. If you haven't seen my community post already, I am doing a live watch along of this game, and on Wednesday night for the game against, I want to say we're playing Borussia Dortmund. We might not be playing Borussia Dortmund. I can't remember. The Champions League, all the fixtures kind of escape me because of how jumbled it is. The league phase just confuses me. When it was the group, I could just remember who we were playing, because the group, it was you're playing three teams twice. Now I always forget who the next game week is against. But yeah, it's against Borussia Dortmund, so I'll be live here on this channel for that game as well, and I will also be live this time next week for Liverpool Man City at the Etihad, which is exciting. It's very exciting. It's going to be my most consistent run of streaming, because I do really want to get in the habit of it. Sometimes it is just a struggle to find the time to do it, but I've got the time to do it for these next 3 games, so I might as well give it a go and just kind of get a bit more used to it. I think the only thing that I'm not really used to about doing these watch long streams is having to watch the game with no sound. There are periods of times, and you've probably noticed it if you've watched one of these streams before, where I'm utterly confused at what's going on, because and that's not me saying I don't know football before anyone tries to come in here and say that I don't know football. It's the fact that a decision's been made by the referee, and I've got no idea what's happened. I've got no idea what the commentators are saying. I'm just kind of a little confused. Is that a corner? Is that a throw-in? Who's it a free kick to? Because sometimes when you see a foul or you see something that you think is obviously going to be a corner or a goal kick, and then you see both sets of players protesting, you're like, is that a corner? Is that a throw-in? It's like last week when obviously Villa got the corner that they scored from. Núñez was protesting for a foul, and I didn't realise that until obviously I saw the replay, because I'm like, what's going on? Núñez clearly was the one that put that out, so I don't know why he's annoyed at the decision. And then I watched the replay and I got it, so I'm just a bit you know, I still feel like sometimes I'm out of the loop a little bit when watching the game with no sound. You know, but it's one of those things. I guess I'll get used to. It just means I got to have a bit more of a keen eye on everything that's going on along the pitch, which is exciting, I guess. But yeah, and you know, I'm gonna probably say, you know, I did joke and say that we're gonna lose 1-0, because obviously anytime Pep puts out a lineup that the fans are happy with, we sit there and say, oh well, you know, this is the squad that the fans wanted and one that we're not going to complain about. It looks like we're going to lose this game. So I did jokingly say that we'll lose 1-0 on Twitter, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think we can win 2-1 here. I think this could be a 2-1 win. It won't be an easy win. It won't be an easy win by any stretch of the imagination, but I think, you know, this is a winnable fixture for City, and it should be a winnable fixture for City. And we need a hard-fought win. I think we need to win a game that we're not absolutely cruising in, and to prove a point. And somebody other than Haaland needs to get on the score sheet. Doku, Foden, Shirky. I'm looking at all of you. Obviously, we won 3-1 midweek. No one that was hard. None of the goals were scored by Haaland because he wasn't on the pitch. So I expect the same today, except with Haaland on the pitch. So maybe mix that in with a Haaland goal. But we need, like I said last week, we need to lighten the load on him. Because Haaland didn't score last week, and then look what happens. The whole team doesn't score because we're overly relying on him. But that's a horse that's been beaten to death many a time, because we all know that we need to stop relying on Haaland. And the players know that as well. Just none of them want to chip in with goals. And the main critique that I've had, and I had last week, was the fact that no one attacks the back stick. Anytime a cross comes in, they just expect Haaland to put it in the back of the net. But when he doesn't put it in the back of the net, when the ball misses him, or when it's cleared but not cleared good enough, you know, who's there to tap it in? Back post. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. And then we're really slow to react to the second ball, and then bam, teams can counter-attack us. It's a story. It's been the story of our season, and was even part of the story of our season last season. So, you know, there are definitely things we need to improve on, and that is one of them. That is 100% one of the things we can improve on. 100%. Just checking the stream, like the actual camera quality, because on my screen in front of me it's not that great, so I've just got it up on a second monitor. That doesn't look too bad. I'm pretty happy with that, I think, because I don't think the light's too shining on my face, which is something I've had a bit of an issue with before. I think that looks fine. I think I'm very much happy with that. I think I'm very much happy with that. Yeah, no, that's all good. I'm a fan of that. Audio's all good as well. You know, we got no problems. I think I've actually got the like the logistics of the you know, the audio and the visuals. The visuals quite good. You know, I'm a fan of the graphics as well. I don't know what everyone's thinking of the graphics. Obviously, they've been like this for a while now. If I was to pull up what one of my old watch-alongs used to look like, one of the first ever watch-alongs that I did, if I pull that one up on screen, if I can just get that one up. 2 seconds. YouTube. I'll just get that one up on screen, and we can all have a little good. We can all have a good laugh, because fan reactions. Yeah, how you doing, man? You know, good to see that the stream's getting out there to different people, getting out there to new people. Let me just switch the YouTube channel that I'm on quickly. Obviously, guys, make sure to like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. Like I've said, we're going to be live for this game, the game midweek, and the game next weekend. But yeah, if we go to my first ever watch along that I did, let me actually skip into it a little bit. This is what we were looking at. Where is it? Which one of these is it? Which do I not have a? Oh, 2 seconds. I've actually got a. Well, 2 sets. This one. That's what I want. Yeah. So this is what this is what the this is what they used to look like, right? This is what my old watch. Obviously, you can't hear the audio. This is what the Watchalongs used to look like. The back of my room was a mess. The graphics were awful. The camera quality was awful. Like what are we looking at here? Look at the clock. Look at the clock. What are we looking? What are we looking at? What are we looking at, man? What is the audio on the mic not too great? Let me mess around with that a little bit. I don't know how that goes now. I gotta wait for the stream to do so. I don't think that works. So I'm just gonna move the mic a tad bit closer. Yeah, that didn't do much. So I'll just move it a tad bit closer. I think that might have been it, just the distance. I've still got this up on my screen when I don't need it up on my screen. I can get rid of that now. I don't need that. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we're all good. Yeah, that should be fun. You know, I don't know. When I've got it up on when I've got it in my headphone, it sounds fine. So I'm not really too sure what's going on with that. If I just when I've got it up on when I've got it up in my ear. Oh wait, no it doesn't. No it doesn't. No it doesn't. Oh. That's interesting. That's interesting. I may have to sort that out. If I was to up the decibels just a tad, I think. Right, that might be it. That could be it. That could be it. Properties. Yeah, no, that's all coming through the right one. Yeah, I think I'm calm with that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. There we go. I should be calm with that one. Let me just get the other controls up. Yeah, you know what? That makes a difference. I should be able to close that one off now. I think that should all be fine. Yeah, I think that should all be good. I'll check again as soon as I've got the clock running on kickoff. I'll check the audio again. I just want to make sure that I've got it on time because there's nothing that annoys me. I don't. If I'm honest, I haven't seen your channel before, but I'm gonna guess it's one of the ones that you get like the shorts and you get the TikToks where people compile the reactions of all the fan channels to a certain match. I'm gonna guess it's one of those. You know, I see them when scrolling on TikTok and stuff, but I never really like look at the channel name, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna guess that's what you do. From, you know, I'm gonna put 2 and 2 together and hopefully get 4, but we might get 5. But yeah, I'm gonna guess that's what you do. I'm gonna guess that's what you do over there. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I know someone that used to do it, actually. I went to school with someone that used to do something similar to that. But like what he'd do is he'd start up a channel and do it for like 2 weeks and then not get the desired outcome. Only on YouTube. You know, I'll thoroughly check your I'll check that out. I'll check your stuff out when I'm off stream, or maybe no, yeah, it'll be better to do it off stream. I'll check it out um off stream, because to be fair, I do find other people's reactions, and that's kind of what made me want to do the watch along thing as well. It's like I enjoy watching people's reactions to the match, whether they play it up for their cameras, or whether that's their authentic reaction. You know, and that's kind of why I do it, because I think I'm relatively interested when I watch football. Like, I'm not over the top, but I'm not a statue. Like, I do relatively get worked up, because I do care that if my team do well. I'm probably a lot more interesting now to watch than I would have been from like 2018 up until like 2024, because like, although like I would have problems with the way City played, I wouldn't really get as annoyed, because I knew that like we'd find a way to win. But that obviously isn't really the case anymore. So I'm now a little bit more animated, as you might say. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Make sure I've got this up. Okay, no, never mind. Yep. Bournemouth to get us underway at the Etihad today, and there we go. First half kicks off at the Etihad. Manchester City 0, Bournemouth 0, and I hope that stays that way for at least, you know, a minute or two. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to us scoring early, but Bournemouth have already had a chance on goal. But Shirky's won the ball back. Nunes then plays it off Scott, and City gets a throw in just 23. Oh, my clock's bang on as well. My clock's bang on. That's what you want to see. You know what? City could not win this game now, and I'd still be happy with the fact that I got my clock bang on. Doku, that's disgraceful. That's awful. And now Bournemouth come forward with Scott. Scott's in the box. Scott shoots, and Manchester City are 1-0 down. Offside? Was that Scott? Or was that Brooks? Sorry, my bad. I think that was Brooks. It was someone in a Bournemouth shirt. And the ball was in the back of the net, but it was given as offside. You know what? He might be onside, you know. He might have been onside. It was David Brooks. My apologies to Alex Scott. But the goal's been ruled out, you know. I'm not 100% convinced he was offside, but I'm happy with the decision nonetheless. But the lads really do need to wake up, because the way we lost the ball there was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Doku's played the lightest pass to his side to Foden, and it's been intercepted almost immediately. So we need to wake up just a tad here, because, you know, that is, you know, alarming that the ball's been in the back of our net a minute and a half into a game at home. Like, no matter how good the side you're playing is, you should not be conceding within the first 5 minutes of a football match, in my opinion. Like, it's just appalling. And Doku should be making mistakes like that a minute into a football match either. Like, come on, like, you gotta use some common sense. Donnarumma now plays out to O'Reilly, who knocks it on to Doku, who then knocks it back to O'Reilly. Still O'Reilly. He tries to play it down the line. Haaland will get there. No, he won't. He does end up losing out. And now we've got Nico G on the ball. He goes backwards to Vardio. Bernardo Silva. Vardio. I'm going to also imagine that Ruben Diaz is going to have the most touches of the ball for us today, as he does every match day. Haaland now knocks it down to Shirky. Shirky takes one touch inside. Foden now. Now the space is sort of trying to open up for City. We just need to keep probing, keep knocking the ball around. Doku. Bernardo Silva. Got Nunes and a lot of space out to him on the right. Bernardo. Shirky. Bernardo Silva now. Now Vardiol, we went all the way back. We were just on the edge of their box and now we went all the way back. But Vardiol going on a bit of a marauding run into the midfield, cuts it back. Now it's Foden. Foden back to Bernardo Silva, who's in the centre-back position, covering for Vardiol. Foden. Yeah. We went all the way back, and now we can't get up the pitch again. But you've got Nico O'Reilly and Doku trying to change that. Now it's Nico G. Now it's O'Reilly in a crossing position who whips it in. Haaland is just beaten to the ball by the Bournemouth defender, who I think that was Truffert, who knocks that one out for a throw-in. But we've got the ball back again out on that left side, and it's O'Reilly who loses out to Jimenez, who then tries to knock it upfield, but is brought down by Nico G. But then it's cleared by Bournemouth. Vardiol brings it down. Bernardo Silva. Oh, man. O'Reilly, Doku. I'm actually a fan, like, obviously in the Club World Cup, I was a huge fan of Doku and Aït-Nouri down the left, and I thought that would be our go-to partnership. Obviously, with Aït-Nouri being injured, I think the way that sort of O'Reilly and Doku have combined down the left side has been quite impressive, and I'm not like opposed to Aït-Nouri having to fight for a spot back off of O'Reilly, because it would be very harsh to straight up drop O'Reilly as soon as Aït-Nouri's back up to speed, because I think, you know, he's played very well for us. But then again, I don't think we should be overplaying the young players, so it's kind of like it's kind of a 50-50 of what I'd want to happen there, if I'm being totally honest. What I do know is after last week, I don't want to see Vardiol playing left back again. It is now been shown that although he's a decent left back, he's so much better in the middle of the park than he is out on the left. Now it's Foden. Doku. Could bring the ball at Jimenez, gets round him once, and then plays the ball into Foden. Now it's Foden. Foden shoots and is blocked and goes out for a corner. City's first corner of the game, 5 minutes in. Still Bournemouth 0. Still Man City 0, Bournemouth 0 after that early scare. Could he have squared the ball? I think maybe Foden shoots a little too late here, and he definitely could have got the shot off a little earlier, but you know, we've won the corner and it's going to be Foden that steps over the corner. Corner does come in. Sorry, I'm just messing around with the there we are. Now it's Foden. Foden gets the cross in, and does that go out for a corner? It does. It goes off Tyler Adams, and it is out for a second City corner. Yeah, cross comes in and it just takes a quick glance off of Tyler Adams. Because I was going to say, if that doesn't take a deflection, that's one of the worst crosses I've ever seen from Foden. We do have some big lads in the box today, so we best start making use of our corners. Ball comes in, Haaland nods it on. Diaz and O'Reilly missed the ball, and now here comes Semenyo driving forward, and this could be danger for City because no one's getting close to Semenyo, and now it's David Brooks with acres of space, but Núñez wins the ball off of him cleanly with a nice little friendly barge, knocks him off balance, takes the ball. It was in the box, so you know Brooks did go down making a meal of it, but it was a clean challenge from the Portuguese fullback, and City now have the ball back. One thing you do have to say is I don't think Núñez is awful defensively. He's definitely gotten a lot better since when he first started playing there. And again, I wouldn't say he's perfect, and I do definitely still humbly believe that we need a out-and-out fullback on the right side in our team. But he's not awful, Núñez. I just think the lapses in concentration when he has them are awful and are usually costly. That is a foul by Nico, and that is going to be a Bournemouth free kick. I'm a huge fan of Nico G as well. I think we were very harsh to not give him as much game time and the lack of game time that we did last season, especially when the player you're playing ahead of him is Kovacic. Because Kovacic, I've made my opinions on Kovacic abundantly clear multiple times. Well, you got the Bournemouth free kick now. Man City playing a very, very high line. Free kick comes in. Bournemouth are claiming a foul, but nothing's been given. Now it's Bernardo Silva. Tries to get the ball into Shirky. He's challenged by Semenyo, so Shirky heads it back to Nunez. And now it's Bernardo Silva again, who finds Foden, who has been a bright spot today, if I'm honest. He's finding himself in all the right positions. Now it's O'Reilly. Vardiol. Doku. Back out to O'Reilly. Takes a questionable first touch, but he knocks it back to Bernardo Silva, who's been filling it at left back for the last minute or so. He's now back in the middle and he finds Vardiol. You know, we're starting to, you know, regain control of the game here, but I don't want it to be kind of what happened against Villa, where we had control of the game for a considerable amount of time in the first half and then everything just went downhill. You know, Bournemouth have already had the ball in our back of our net once this afternoon, and you know that should be a wake up call enough, and should show the team that we don't need to go 1-0 down to realise that we've got a competition on our hands. But you know, whether that's actually going to happen or not, again, you don't know, because you never know which City is going to turn up. Here's Shirky. He plays the ball around the corner to Haaland, but Petrovic is going to beat him to it, and it's going to be put out for a throw-in. See, I like that from Shirky. Although it wasn't the best pass, he had the idea. He looked up, he saw the run, and he tried to make it happen, no matter how hard the angle was. And yes, it didn't come off, but at least he tried. You know, and that's something we missed a lot last season, and we're missing at points this season. People not willing to play that pass. And that's another reason why I have an issue with when Kovacic is in the team, because he's never willing to play that pass. So, you know, I like the risk-taking factor from Shirky. Now it's Foden. Run himself into a bit of a tight spot, but Nunez recovers the ball. Now it's Doku. Has O'Reilly in space out to his left, but he plays it inside to Shirky and plays it straight back to Doku. Now it's Bernardo Silva. That's a poor pass out to Nunez, and Truffet is going to try clear that. Doesn't get it very far, and now it's Foden who flicks it onto Shirky, and now it's Doku. Doku to Foden. Foden tries to scoop it through. Now it's Haaland. Beautiful pass from Nico G. Haaland takes the shot, and it's straight at Petrovic. That was some good football. You know, again, not everything came off there. There were a few flicks and passes that, you know, weren't exactly accurate, but we were trying to make something happen. We weren't just stalling around the edge of the box, waiting for Bournemouth to give us the perfect pathways to the goal. We were trying to make something happen. And I think that's definitely 100% what you get when you've got Shirky, Foden and Doku all on the pitch at once. So that's a positive. I'm already seeing some positives that we didn't see last week. So it's always a good thing, you know. Always a good thing. You've got to take the small positives from any situation, really. But it's still City 0, Bournemouth 0. That's a foul. Never mind. No, it's not, apparently. So you're allowed to just shove someone in the back straight to the floor, and it's not given as a foul. That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. But the one time Gonzalez does that, he's gonna get booked. I'm telling you now. That's my prediction now. Long ball comes forward, but it's straight to Donnarumma. Quickly gets it out to Josko Vardiol. Vardiol finds Diaz. Nunez now. Does he keep that on? No, he doesn't, and it's going to be a Bournemouth throw-in. Instantly won back by Nico there, and you know, it's lovely stuff. I really do enjoy watching him in the midfield. Some City fans aren't a fan of him. I'm not really too sure why. very unlucky from Shirky there not to get that pass in to Haaland. But again, you know, it's like I said earlier, you know, he's trying to make things happen, and it might not always come off, but when it does, it's obviously going to pay off. You know, that's common sense. That's Michael Owenism there. But yeah, some City fans aren't completely sold on Gonzalez, but again, I think that's just because you can't please some people. Everybody has to be the best in their position at City, or else it's not good enough for some fans. And I'd like to say that I'm a bit more realistic than that, and I have a lot more time for some players than other fans do. But I'm not the most patient, as I've said. You know, there are some players that I cannot stand at City over the last 2-3 years, and I've made those opinions clear. But I like to give people time. You know, and I think a lot of the signings that we've made since January have been good. You know, our summer window last summer, well, summer of 2024 was a car crash. And I'm kind of glad the club realised that in January, because only signing Savinho and Gundogan, that was never good enough off the back of winning the Premier League, was it? When we already knew our squad wasn't good enough? Do you know what I mean? Is that not a foul either? So Tavernier's now pushed Diaz to the floor, and that one's also not given a foul. So some interesting stuff going on there. Some interesting stuff, you know. Very, 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 very interesting. Petrovic now has the ball. Who again I also said I didn't think was great against Liverpool in the first game of the season in the watch-along I did. Obviously I have watched Bournemouth since then, but I just think that's always the sort of reference points I go back to, because you know you can go fact check all that stuff. Yeah, Semenyo's got the ball out here now on the left hand side for Bournemouth. And he stands Nunes up 1v1 and goes past him with ease, but he then runs into Bernardo Silva, and City now have the ball back with Ryan Shirky, who plays the ball down the line straight into a Bournemouth player. Doku wasn't quick enough to get there, but then again I don't think the pass was the best, if I'm being totally honest. Now it's Jimenez. He finds David Brooks, who goes for an early cross. It's dealt with by Diaz. Now it's Foden, knocks it down to Haaland, who gets it straight to Nico, who chips it into Shirky, who heads it on to Haaland, and he's got green grass to run into Erling Haaland here. 1-on-1 with Petrovic. It's Erling Haaland, 1-0! Shirky assist, Erling Haaland goal, robot celebration as well. What a goal! What a goal! Beautiful, beautiful football from Manchester City. Beautiful, exceptional. Erling Haaland gets his goal, and I know I said earlier, other people need to contribute goals, not just Erling Haaland, but I don't care. There's him that scores, because it's a beautiful goal, and City are 1-0 up against Bournemouth. We'll look at this again, because obviously this first comes from the David Brooks cross that is cleared by Diaz. We look at it again. Diaz clears it. It's then Foden who heads it to Haaland, who gets a nice little one-touch pass off to Nico G, who chips it into Shirky, who just heads it round the corner to Haaland, who's just got grass to run into. You know, he's got the defender closing him down. I think that is Truffet. I'm not too sure. It did look like him. It was him. He's closing him down, but Haaland's only got one thing in his mind, and it's putting it in the back of the net. And Petrovic just shows him that slightest of gap between him and the near post for Haaland to slide it in, and the Norwegian does not make the mistakes in that position. Yes, he might not have scored a similar chance against Villa last week, but he doesn't make the mistake twice, and that is Manchester City 1, Bournemouth 0. And that is the 25th goal for Erling Haaland for club and country this season. And that's a Shirky assist as well. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. Now we just got to build on from this, lads, and not just get complacent. Now we've got the lead. Nico again. Doku, Foden. Now it's Haaland again. He's got Shirky. That's a beautiful pass from Haaland. Is the foul going to be given on O'Reilly? The ref says no. I'm not 100% convinced that was a foul. I would need to see the replay of that. Beautiful pass though from Haaland, like beautiful. I thought he was going to just drop that off for Shirky and let him do the heavy lifting, but nah, Haaland can do it all now apparently. He took all the criticism he got last season extremely seriously, and that's what you want to see. Let's look at this again. So Haaland picks it up, he looks up, sees Nico O'Reilly going through. There it doesn't look like Jimenez makes that much contact. We've got Gonzalez breaking up the play again. Now it's Doku. He's got Haaland running ahead of him, but he's got grass to run into, and now it's Shirky again. This slows down the game a little bit, just tiptoeing towards the Bournemouth goal. He knocks it to the side to Doku. And I was right in my assumption that I made earlier. It is Bernardo Silva playing off of the right. I was meant to mention that earlier, but I completely forgot. Shirky again. Foden. Nico G. Shirky. Again, just stood still on the ball, waiting for the Bournemouth players to press him. Does it again. This time he is closed down by Semenyo, but he keeps the ball. Now it's Foden this time. On the turn, swivels past Scott, back to Shirky, who then just passes it back to Diaz again, just playing with so much arrogance in his game. Shirky just, it's oozing aura. It's oozing aura. Now it's Nunez, awful pass inside to Nico G, but Scott wasn't able to capitalise on it, and City have the ball back. Bernardo Silva once again filling in at centre back. Now it's Shirky, who's just everywhere on the pitch. He's always demanding the ball, no matter what phase of play he's in. And now it's Nico G, who's got Nunez running to his right, picks up the ball out on the right wing, who then passes it inside to Doku, who's absolutely everywhere at the moment. Doku inside to Shirky, who then goes for the return, but is intercepted by Bournemouth. And yeah, we're starting to knock it up again now. Shirky, Nunez, Bernard Silva, Foden, Nico G to Nunez, tries to chip the ball into Shirky. It's cleared by Bournemouth, to Bernardo even, but it's cleared by Bournemouth and then picked up by Shirky. Really starting to control the game now, and I would really like to see us grab a second. That's a beautiful turn by Nunez. He's got Foden to his right, knocks it to his right, a little too late if I'm honest, but Foden still gets it. Now it's Doku, poor touch by Doku, but it's pounced on, the loose ball is pounced on by Bernardo Silva. All the City players are hungry for the ball. They're all demanding the ball in possession and then working hard to get it out of possession, which is a lot different to what we were seeing last week. So that's already a plus. It's Doku. Cuts back. Nunez. Nico. Foden. Shirky. Bernardo. Doku. Bernardo. Couldn't get there. Petrovic sweeps it up. But that is, again, it's really good play from City. Players are making themselves available, whether that's Doku, Bernardo, Foden, Shirky. They're all making themselves available. You know, they're making themselves available. There's a lot of movement around the pitch. The passing is intricate and it's slow, but it's not us waiting for Bournemouth to just give us the opportunity to run through on goal. The players are still working to pick up the space, and it is something that is a bit of a breath of fresh air, because I do think at points this season, Villa, Monaco as well, I think we were just kind of waiting for the team to give us the opportunity to score instead of creating the opportunity to score. Because I know we give teams a lot of opportunities to score and craft goals we conceded by ourselves, but that doesn't mean other teams are going to do it for us. But yeah, still City 1, Bournemouth 0, but Bournemouth are coming forward here. It's Tyler Adams. He's playing a few 1-2s with Semenyo. No one's really pressing him, and City is sat in a very, very deep position. We've got everybody behind the ball at the moment, including Erling Haaland. Brooks on the ball again. He gets it to Adams, who then gets it out to Semenyo, who's doubled up on here by Shirky and Nunez, with Bernardo Silva sat in behind them. Truffet with the cross, straight into Nunez, and that is a Bournemouth corner. George is just flexing on me right now that he's at the Etihad in the away end, but he can hold that. I'm going to type the snap out to him and watch him. He won't be able to open it now until the end of the game, when inevitably Bournemouth end up winning. We've got Alex Scott over the corner now for Bournemouth. He whips it in. Tyler Adams has scored. I thought it was originally dealt with by Donnarumma, but he gets a weak hand to it, and Tyler Adams taps in an equaliser. So that is City 1, Bournemouth 1. And the City players are complaining that there was a foul on Donnarumma, but it doesn't look like it's going to get given, and the goal is going to stand. The corner comes in. Obviously, you've got 3 people stood on Donnarumma here. He gets a hand to it, and then nobody reacts quicker than Tyler Adams to the ball. Is it a weak hand or is he fouled? No, that's a weak hand. Donnarumma has to be doing so much better there. Oh, actually, no. Brooks did have his arm wrapped around Donnarumma's arm, but I don't think he had that contact long enough. Like, Donnarumma was able to leave the... Yeah, that's poor. That's poor goalkeeping from Donnarumma. And I haven't had to say that many times, if ever, with him playing at City, but that is poor defending, and he needs to do a lot better there. So Bournemouth have their equaliser, and again it's from a corner, so we concede from another set piece, which is actually quite concerning, considering most teams are abusing set pieces this season. The fact that we keep conceding from set pieces is very concerning, and Donnarumma's got no one to blame but himself for the weak hand that he got on that. So we're back level after that Tyler Adams equaliser, and I am not very impressed. Not very impressed at all with that goalkeeping from Donnarumma. Because yes, Brooks does lock his arm, but he's not for long. Donnarumma... The thing is, right, if Brooks has hold of his arm and Donnarumma cannot jump, then it is a foul. But Donnarumma's jumped and left the ground. His feet have left the ground. So he has to do better there in the air. 100%. But he's now been booked for arguing with the referee. So that's great. It is grand. So I don't know what's going on. Everyone's arguing with the referee here. I'm not really too sure what's going on after the restart, but our players have seemed to have lost their heads a little bit, which isn't a great sign. You know, we have conceded, but it's only an equaliser. We've been playing better football here. It surely is not that deep. But Bournemouth do have a free kick on the halfway line. It's going to be Jimenez to stand over it, to launch it towards the box. Jimenez launches it forward. It's not dealt with by O'Reilly, but it is never mind, it's a foul on O'Reilly, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. Yeah, that's really poor goalkeeping from Donnarumma. The more and more I think about it, the worse and worse it gets for me. Yeah. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks that he is 100% convinced he wasn't fouled there, and he just got a weak hand to the ball. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's what I said. Granted, Brooks does have his arm wrapped around his arm, but Donnarumma's able to leave the ground and jump up to challenge for the ball. So that means that any contact that David Brooks was making to him wasn't substantial enough for him to for it to be a foul. He has to make better contact on the ball than that. But now here's Shirky, shoots, blocked. Now Bernardo Silva. As I was going on that rant, City were putting some good attacks forward. City are now calling for a handball. That looks like Anthony Taylor, but a lot of the refs in this league look the same. are calling for a handball. Let's see this up close. Yes, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. That is 100% a penalty. That one's a penalty. That's a penalty. The only way that doesn't get given is if they say that Bernardo Silva was too close to Jimenez when he kicked that ball. But in my opinion, that's a penalty kick. If I'm the referee, I'm giving that as a penalty kick. Like, Bernardo Silva's close to Jimenez, don't get me wrong. Right? But his arms are out. And if I'm jumping to block the ball, I'm having my hand close to my body. As somebody that has blocked a cross before, I'm having my arm close to my body when I jump. But Taylor's having none of it, and he's given the corner, when I personally think that's a penalty. Corner comes in, Haaland. Vardiol puts it over. Yeah. Do you think that was a... Oh, you think that was a foul on Donnarumma? I'm not convinced. No, that wasn't over by... No, that is a corner. My bad. I thought Guardiola put that over. Corner comes in. Petrovic gets there first. Now it's Shirky. Knocks it out to Doku. Takes one touch. Tries to spin and is dispossessed. Do you think that was a foul on Donnarumma? Oh. Taylor's given another free kick to... I'm actually double checked. That is I'm 90% sure that's Taylor, but I don't want to go out and say that is... him when it's not, but I think that is him. Yes. I'm gonna, I'm convinced that is. Whether that is or isn't is, it's not really it's not really something I care about. It's poor refereeing anyway, because that was never a foul. But I'm still think that should have been a penalty, but I don't know if that's just me being biased. But I think, there's enough room between Bernardo Silva and Jimenez there for him to move his arm out of the way. But it's another corner to see. Well, I think that's a corner anyway. Lino might not give it, but here's a corner and Foden's out to take it. Come on, lads. We still seem up for it. We haven't sort of cowered and crumbled, but I do still think that we were poor to not double our lead when we were dominating all the chances. The corner wasn't a great one. It's cleared by Bournemouth, and now Nunes has it in our half, and he passes back to Donnarumma. And then goes back out to Nunes. Bernardo Silva now. Shirky. Inside to O'Reilly, who's a bit slow on the turn there, and all the options have sort of closed around him. But he gets it off to Bernardo Silva. Diaz, beautiful pass into Foden. Now Shirky. Haaland, who's onside, bears down on the Bournemouth goal again. He's round Petrovic. Erling Haaland! Yes! That's it. That's what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see. Not him falling off the advertising board and almost hurting himself, but Erling Haaland running into green grass, bearing down on the Bournemouth goal. And there we go. We have our 1-goal lead back, and it's courtesy of that man again, Erling Haaland. I still do think someone else needs to start scoring goals, but what am I to say if Erling Haaland's got a brace within half an hour? And is that another... I think that was the assist from Shirky. Again, Foden, Shirky, Haaland onside. Truffet holding his own defensive line there, defending like a defender in FC 26. If you know, you know. Nico, beautiful pass into Foden. Beautiful first time pass off to Shirky. Shirky sees the space for Haaland to run into. Haaland runs into it, rounds the keeper, and calmly puts it into the back of the net. And the 1-goal lead is restored, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully this time we can keep it. Am I confident in that? No, not really. Erling Haaland, Erling Haaland and Ryan Shirky, you both rock my world. That's 13 goals this season for Erling Haaland, with Maxime Esteve for Burnley still being our second highest goal scorer in the league with those 2 own goals. But yeah, who cares? Now it's Doku, who plays out to O'Reilly, and now it's O'Reilly bearing down on goal. And now here's his turn to go around Petrovic. Foden can't tap it in. How have we not scored? How? How is that not 3-1? What has just happened on my screen? I'm getting a replay, right? Okay, no, I'm not getting the replay, so I'm still in utter disbelief at what's just happened on my TV screen. So no, it looks like nobody other than Erling Haaland knows how to score, and now we've got Semenyo charging down on our goal. Cuts inside, gets a shot off from range, but this time it's comfortably dealt with by Donnarumma, and he instantly gets it out to Foden, who's got space to run into. He plays the long pass for Haaland to try chase, completely mishits it and gets into Petrovic's hands. But I'm still confused out to how neither O'Reilly or Foden have scored there, and I'm not getting a replay. So does anyone want to enlighten me on what's just happened there? Because I'm baffled, and I'd like to think you are too. But it's still City 2, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth just knocking around comfortably around the back at the moment. Probably trying to wait for some space to open up. Semenyo now has the ball. Adams. Nico G. That's a beautiful turn. And the pass to Doku's even better. And he's got Shirky ahead of him. He still has the ball somehow, and now it's Erling Haaland, and that's a good save by Petrovic as he tries to dink it over him. But that is some beautiful work there from both Doku and Nico G, and exceptional midfielder. Again, very good work from Doku. Haaland, good save. I'd say he hasn't got enough height on the dink, but for Petrovic to react to it either way, very, very good save. But we are looking very, very good in transition. I must say. But we also look very vulnerable in transition as well, so I guess, short corner to be taken. Now it finds Bernardo Silva. He's going to tee one up, back post. Never mind, it goes straight into Petrovic's hands. We're approaching half-time now, so hopefully we can keep this lead or maybe extend it. But I would be absolutely fuming if we give up chances here. We'll give Bournemouth the chance to equalise before half-time. I think, Haaland, as I'm disappointed to not see him get his hat-trick there, I can't be as harsh on him as I am with Foden and O'Reilly for not scoring earlier, and I just hope both of those chances don't come back to bite us in the end. Especially with Semenyo, who just does not seem to want to let the ball go from his feet. But Bernardo Silva wins it back off of, I think that was Jimenez, out wide. He has Brooks charging down on him, but he knocks it inside to Foden. Foden, he's a tad isolated from the rest of the midfield, but he's able to help it on to Nico G. Now it's Bernardo again. And he goes backwards to Vardio. Now it's Diaz, goes inside to Haaland, who knocks it round to Shirky. Shirky tries to go beyond the Bournemouth defender, but you know his path is blocked. Diaz intercepts the ball, play forward to Semenyo. Semenyo is down on the floor and he hasn't got back up after, I'm guessing, clattering into Diaz. And he is holding his lower back, so he could actually be in a lot of trouble here. Which is not ideal because, again, he's one of my favourites to watch in the league at the moment. Ooh! Yeah, that looks like it's hurt. He's just had the full force of Diaz. Like, Diaz has won the ball and then just the follow-through is... Yeah. Again, there's not much Diaz can do or Semenyo can do to get out of each other's way there. And that's just unlucky, and the impact of that is not great. Hopefully, we are now getting the replay of this O'Reilly chance here. So he's through. He goes around Petrovic. He knocks it. Oh, it's actually a really, really good touch from Jimenez. Now that I see it back, he knocks the ball across for Foden. Jimenez just gets a touch on it and knocks it like out of Foden's path, and yeah, that's But while we have this breaking play, I'm gonna see what Twitter's telling me here. Yeah, this second goal is... Well, this is the first goal they're seeing again, and yeah, it's a really, really nice header from Shirky, and it's a cool and composed finish for Haaland. And then the second one, the pass is ridiculous. The composure to go around the keeper and the calm finish to pass into the back of the net, absolutely beautiful. The contrast in hair between Anthony Taylor and Erling Haaland here is actually remarkable. Is Semenyo... Yeah, Semenyo doesn't look like he's going to be able to carry on, I don't think. Because he's still holding his back and moving with a lot of discomfort. So I can imagine he's going to be subbed off here. No, he's on the sideline. He thinks he can continue. Whether he will actually be able to continue for a reasonable amount of time, that's you know to be decided. But it doesn't look great the way he's moving out there. Okay, that's a bit of a rogue one there from O'Reilly. And is that given as a foul? Yeah, I thought so. That was a bit of a rogue challenge there from O'Reilly. Petrovic now. He knocks out to Trofea. Who gets it to Semenyo, who seems to be moving a lot more freely now. So maybe it was just an impact injury and he just had to walk it off. Now it's Brooks. Cuts inside. Gets it back again. Adams, the goal scorer. Shirky tries to pick up on a loose ball, couldn't get there. It's Tavernier, he's knocked to the floor. This, for once, Taylor's having none of it. But now he's given a foul for a foul on Nunes. So, you know, he does know how to give a foul City's way. Let's have a little look at this. Yeah, it's not a foul on Tavernier there by Shirky. Yeah. Yeah. That wouldn't have been a foul on Tavernier anyway. Now that I see that closely. It's one of those coming togethers where it hurts. Like, I wouldn't say either of them have committed a foul there, but the impact that Nunes gets there is clearly going to hurt. So play has to be stopped. But I wouldn't personally deem that a foul, if that makes sense. should be back underway, yeah. I can imagine there's going to be a few minutes added on. Free kick to be taken by Donnarumma. Just launch it forward, obviously to Erling Haaland, who has the ball float over his head. Then it's punted forward by Bournemouth. Núñez wins the ball, but it's brought down by Scott. And then Bournemouth again look to clear long. No, they do go back to Petrovic. And it's played long. Semenyo, he's in behind Núñez there. Núñez has to play catch up. The cutback takes Núñez out of the game, but Semenyo also takes himself out of the game at the same time. Still Bournemouth with the ball. Now it's Alex Scott. Tyler Adams. Chip forward long. It's a good touchdown. Vardio is there. Truffet with the tries to hit the cross. Can't really find the angle. Cleared by O'Reilly. Doku picks it up now. Doesn't really have anywhere to run or play the ball. Tries to get the better of Jimenez. Doesn't. But Jimenez does have to put it out for a City throw-in. So, you know, he does enough there, Doku, to keep the ball. And he's played very, very well in this first half. We do have 5 minutes of added time to end the first half. And hopefully we can just end the first half strong and have no silly hiccups. Haaland now misplaces his pass to Foden, and now Bournemouth could try pass it out. Instead they decide to go back to Petrovic, play out from the back again. Scott plays the pass out of play, and it is now a City throw-in to be taken by Nico G. Diaz now. Núñez. He jets forward, gets round one. He then tries to cross it to Haaland. Doesn't find him, and Jimenez is able to head it back to Petrovic. 4 minutes. 1 minute of the additional 5 minutes played. 4 to go. Taylor's now booked Foden. I'm not too sure why. Oh, this guy, man, he's not serious. He's not. He's not. You know, my friend Joe always says to me that he's a joke of a referee, and I never really got it. You know, Joe's a Chelsea fan, so obviously they got their little, you know, tit for tat with him. But now I'm just seeing it like he's not. His head's gone. His head's gone. His head's more gone than his hair. I like to see that. Shirky's annoyed with himself that he's not intercepted that pass there. That's the passion that you want from your players. Semenyo now. He looks to have walked off that earlier injury. Or knock, shall I say. I wouldn't call it an injury. Brooks now. He goes inside to Adams. Tries to whip one out to Semenyo. He touches it down and passes it round Núñez to Truffet, and then it's cleared by Nico G, who then gets it to Shirky, who gets it back to Núñez, and it's Shirky who tries to take the ball inside. Doesn't initially, but gets onto the loose ball, and now it's O'Reilly who takes a loose touch but is able to keep it in for going out from a Bournemouth throw-in. He goes inside and gets it to Foden, who passes it to Vardio. Who then gets it to Nico G, to Foden, to Bernardo, and now to Nico, who I think has been really good this first half. Really, really good. I think all of our midfielders have been good, if I'm being totally honest. Now it's Doku. Tries to get the better of Jimenez on the spin, but he read it and he's now put it out for a City throw-in. 48 minutes on the clock now. I say that, so you can't see that at the top. But yeah, you get my point. It's been a decent first half. You know, obviously there's been a few scary moments, but other than that, you know, I think we've played very, very well. Doku now finds Vardio. He gets it to Bernie. He gets it to Diaz. Foden. Shirky tries to make himself available, but Foden's knocked off balance by Scott. Helps the ball onto Nunes there. And now it's Diaz. Nunes. Foden. On the turn. Looks to pass to Haaland. The gap kind of closes, so he goes out to Nunes instead. He's still in there, support Foden. Turns. Foul by Semenyo? Foul by Semenyo. Free kick on the edge of the Bournemouth box for Manchester City to end the first half. Yeah, it's a definite foul. Well, that was a green laser then, but it's just a glint off of the guy's glasses in the background behind the goal. Shirky to step over this free kick. Absolute limbs if this goes in, by the way. I'll scream the house down if this Shirky free kick goes in. But it does look like, from the angle he's approaching this, he does look like he's going to try cross this one in. He does shoot. Does take a slight deflection off the wall. It does force Petrovic to pop out for the corner. Does it take a hit off the wall? It looked like it took a hit off Scott. It doesn't. He just whips that one straight round. And it is blocked by Scott. And that is half time. Boom. So this is pause the clock there. So half-time thoughts from everybody. What we saying? What we saying on that first half? What we saying? I'm gonna check Twitter, see what everyone's got to say. Yeah, a lot of people again have very similar things to say. But yeah, that was a good first half, and I'm hoping to see more of that in the second. Hopefully, you know, I don't want us to absolutely capitulate like we tend to do in City fashion. But yeah, no, I think we've been very, 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 very good. I think what we, again, I just think we just need to tighten up at the back a little bit, and just be a bit more clinical in front of goal. I want to see. And a lot of our attacking players are taking a lot more shots today than I've seen in any other game. They're not all just trying to force it to Haaland. Obviously, Haaland is the one with the 2 goals. But I just want to, just want someone else to get on the score sheet, if I'm honest. Because having our second highest goal scorer in the league be Burnley's centre-back is not good. It's not good. I don't care how many goals Haaland could get, 56 goals in the Premier League this season, right? Obviously, unrealistic number. But if he got that amount of goals and it was still Esteve as our second top goal scorer, I'd be disappointed in the rest of the team. And as simple as that. Because everyone needs to carry their weight. And they might be chipping in with assists. Doesn't really matter, because Haaland's not gonna be available every game for every minute. It's just not possible. And I know we got Mamouche, but someone else needs to start chipping in. Let me just actually move back into the centre, because I started drifting off behind the graphic there, which obviously is not ideal. Boom. I'm looking for just a comfortable second half. Obviously, try get another goal, but just a comfortable and professional second half with no funny business. Because we are a team that is prone to throwing out some funny business, right? And I don't want to. I don't think I want to or need to be seeing any of that. None of this making it difficult for ourselves business. Just a comfortable win is all I ask for, lads. One comfortable win is all I ask for. No, I lied. A comfortable win and somebody that's not Haaland on the score sheet, and I'm actually I'm in dreamland. Okay, Shirky goal and a comfortable second half, and I'm in dreamland. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we want. That's what we want, and that's what we need. That's what we want, and that's what we need. Seeing this first goal again, it's a beautiful header on, and the finish is just top class. But yeah, what's everyone thought of that first half? Anyone got any controversial second half? First half thoughts, halftime thoughts that I haven't already put out there into the space? What we thinking? That's again poor goalkeeping from Donnarumma. No excuses for that. No, absolutely zero excuses for that. Zero excuses for that weekend. It's just it's not good enough from him. And I said that at the time when the goal went in. It's not good enough. You need to be stronger than that. Yes, Brooks has his arm wrapped around his arm for 2 seconds max, but if that was meaningful contact, Donnarumma would not have been able to jump and leave the floor without Brooks weighing him down like an anchor. So if Donnarumma is able to get up in the air to that ball, the contact Brooks has made to him makes no difference. It doesn't, in my opinion. So he just needs to do a lot better. But this second goal, absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful from Nico, Foden, Shirky, and Haaland. It's just perfect. They all knew exactly what they wanted to do as soon as the ball came to them. It's one touch pass from Foden, one touch pass from Shirky, and then Haaland. He sees the goal and he knows exactly what he needs to do. So that's beautiful football, and you want to see more of that. Obviously, he was unlucky not to get his hat trick a few minutes after, and O'Reilly was unlucky to not find Foden, but yeah, it's cold celebration from Haaland as well, doing the robot celebration, because we all know that he's not human, and yeah, we just want to see a nice comfortable second half performance from the boys, if I'm honest. I don't really have much else to say other than that, really. Just looking forward to the second half now. Yeah, not seeing much. Not seeing anyone else here with any other sort of contrasted takes to what I've said already. And Shirky looks to be silencing Verts in that little debate. And if I'm honest, right? If I'm honest, I don't think I said this. I don't think I ever said this at the time. I might have in one of my trans videos that I made, but I didn't really want Verts. I did want Verts, but as soon as that price tag comes out, you can't justify. When you cost that much money, you have to do spectacular things to even like justify that. You look at Caicedo right now, right? Caicedo is probably the best midfielder in the world, right? But look how long it's took for him to justify that price tag, and for everybody to consider him worth the 115 million, I think it was, that he cost. Obviously Grealish didn't live up to his price tag. You know, I think he was good, but he didn't live up to his price tag, as I mentioned in my tier list video that I did. Check that one out if you haven't already. It's obviously available on the channel. And it's like I said when it came to Gibbs White, I was always going to want to take Shirky over Gibbs White. When you're looking at an English player for 100 million, or you can get someone younger with a higher ceiling for a fraction of that. All the pressure is going to be on Morgan Gibbs White. English player joining one of the best teams in the league for £100 million. Yeah, that's crazy pressure to have on your shoulders, and we saw what happened with Grealish, and we even saw what happened with Phillips, who joined for a fraction, like a half of what Gibbs White would have cost. So, yeah. For me, it was always a no-brainer to go for Shirky because it was the lowest risk signing. And coming off the season that we had, we needed to be making low risk signings because we couldn't have one more big transfer blow up in our face like Phillips did. And that's just my opinion. Obviously, anyone's like welcome to challenge that opinion. In for the you know what? I predicted 2-1 before the game and said that it would be a scrappy win. And now, even though that's what I predicted, I don't think I'd be too happy with the 2-1 win. I think we definitely need to get a 2-goal lead and for once actually kill off a game when we need to, because the amount of times I've seen us throw away a 1-goal lead by being too complacent is tiresome. Bro, I'm there for that. I'm there for that. I'm there for that. I'm there for that. Better see some head loss. The head loss has been and gone. The head loss has been and gone. We don't want to see... We don't want to see any more head loss, if I'm honest. We're not wanting to see any more head loss. We're wanting to see a comfortable game. The head loss is gone. My boy, the head loss is gone. We don't want to see any more of that. What Anthony Taylor, like, I think like there's not a ref out there that I think that I don't like, right? There's not a ref that I see ref our games and I think this is not going to be a good day. Mostly because I think they're all as bad as each other. But I think if I had to say there was one that is the worst, I would probably say it is Taylor, because some of the decisions he just makes in football games do baffle me a little bit. They do. You know, I'm not saying I've got my refereeing badges, right? I'm not saying that I'm a certified FA referee, but I think I know enough about the laws of the game to say that he's lost his mind just a tad. Like, well, way more than a tad. Like, he's got as much sense as he has hair. If I'm gonna be honest about it, do you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah. I haven't liked some of the calls that he's made this game. You know, we're winning, of course, so it doesn't matter too much. Taylor's a Liverpool fan. I didn't know that. I know there's what's his face is a Liverpool fan. I can't remember his name. Is it Chris Kavanagh? Is it Kavanagh that's the Liverpool fan? I know one of them. One of the people on the PGML team is a Liverpool fan. No, I think it's Kavanagh. I think it is Kavanagh. I want to say. There is Kavanagh. It has to be. It is Kavanagh. It has to be. I think I'm gonna Google it, bro. I'm 90% sure it is. Taylor. I don't think Taylor's a Liverpool fan. I think he's just incompetent. And I know being a Liverpool fan and being incompetent usually do go hand in hand, but I don't think this. I don't think this is the point where it's kind of the case. I think he just is incompetent, just on his own. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I know what I'm trying to say. Got Haaland coming out for the second half. No subs being made by City. It looks like. It looks like Pep's not made any subs. You know, I don't think we needed any, but it doesn't look like he's made any. But yeah, we just need more of the same from the boys out there. I do think Bournemouth were making some subs, but I'm not 100% too sure on that. No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it is just the same 11s that started the game coming out for this second half. Shirky to get us underway from kickoff. Hopefully I can get the clock in line again. I hope so. Let's just get it to come up on the... Yeah, that's what you like to say. Oh no, never mind. Mine's slightly ahead by a second. Yeah, mine's ahead by 1 second. Can I just... No, it's still ahead by a second. I think I got it now. I think I got it. I'm not too sure. Fold brace to save my FPL. Fold and brace and I do unspeakable things. But I'm wearing the Foden shirt and I've got the Foden shirt on the wall, so it means that Foden's not gonna... What is happening, man? Oh, I look back at the screen and I see Anthony Taylor, surprise, giving a free kick to Bournemouth. Let's have a little look at the contact here on David Brooks. Okay, that was a foul. I take everything I just said back. That was a foul. I take everything I just said back. 100% a foul. But so we've got Alex Scott and Tavernier over this corner, over this free kick even to be whipped into the box. No funny business, lads. Straight head of the way, clear by Nunes. And Bournemouth go all the way back to Petrovic. You could say they were petrified of going forward. Banter. Bournemouth still in possession of the ball, but they're just passing it around the back, being very reserved on the ball. You know, they can pass it around here as long as they like. As long as they just don't venture into our half, they can do whatever they want with the ball. Now it's Vardio. Now it's back to Donnarumma. Vardio's not happy about something. I'm not too sure what it is. Whether there was contact on him there by whoever. Semenyo does look to be moving fine now. So I'm guessing that earlier impact injury from Diaz is nothing major, which is always good to see. Donnarumma's moving a bit loose with it. Nico G's a joke on the ball. Absolute joke of a footballer. Like, am I watching Bosk? Am I on FIFA? Well, no. I take this very... One moment. O'Reilly. Harlot. No. If I was to show the setup, right? Look, I can even show. Controller is not on. See this? The controller is not on. It's because I've got the screen that's got the game on is here. The screen that's got the chat and the stream on for like my whole overview to make sure nothing crazy is going on is here. And then my phone's propped up here, which has the controls for the scoreboard. So I've got to just keep scanning around like I'm Prime Xavi to make sure everything's in check. And we all know that my concentration's not the best. What is happening? The ball just got actually launched at Donnarumma like a missile. Yeah, my clock's just about in time now. Donnarumma was off his line, so Semenyo just went for it. Fair enough, fair dues. I would have probably done the same. I don't know if the ball would have travelled as far as it did when Semenyo hit it, but, you know, I'd have gave it a go, like. Now it's O'Reilly to knock this one. Never mind. He's lost his mind. Lost his mind. Bournemouth again just have it around the back as we approach the 50th minute. We've had 5 minutes of this first half, and City have not had much of the ball. It's all just been Bournemouth in possession, was not what you want to see. But Donnarumma does have the ball, so hopefully now we can build some sustained possession. You know what I'm trying to say? Keep the ball. Nico now gets it to Vardio, Yoskau. Back to Donnarumma. So now we're the ones playing around the back. As much as I love Donnarumma, I don't really feel comfortable with him with the ball at his feet. Bernardo Silva. Now O'Reilly. Shirky. Tries to nutmeg Brooks, but it doesn't come off, and now he's able to spray the ball out wide to Semenyo. Dude's able to cross the ball in. It gets all the way to Brooks. Oh, hits the side net in. The shot eventually comes in. Does hit the side net in. But Nunez was in absolutely no man's land. He's pushed up in the midfield. He's got no idea that Semenyo's there. And, you know, I'm not, you know, entirely against Nunez inverting into the midfield because he's very good on the ball. When you've got someone as dangerous as Semenyo over your shoulder, come on, man. You've got to use your brain a little bit. Like, but it is Nunez on the ball now. He's progressing the ball forward while running inside. He tries to play it to O'Reilly, and that is an absolute atrocious attempt at a pass. Like, I'm not impressed by that in the slightest. What is the time now, actually? Like, the actual time. Oh. 6 PM content comes out in 7 minutes. Yippee. Bournemouth have the ball yet again, round the back. Shock horror. Is anybody surprised? I'm not. Semenyo now goes for an early cross. This time it is caught and claimed by Donnarumma. So, you know, that's a positive. That's an improvement from the goal we conceded. He's taking his time with it. It looks like he's going to go long. He doesn't. He passes it out to Ruben Diaz, who's out on the right side. He dinks it into Nunez, who heads it back to Bernardo, who gets it on the ground, and then plays it inside to Foden. Foden takes a good touch and passes it into Doku, who's just about kept the ball, and now he's still running forward. He can pass it out to O'Reilly, and he does. O'Reilly's now in a crossing position to try find Haaland. Doesn't. Headed clear by Adams. And then Shirky just about... Oh, that's Bernardo, my bad. The way Shirky and Bernardo carry themselves on the pitch, they both walk the exact same. So sometimes I'm a bit difficult on... Like, the only way I can tell the difference is when Shirky goes to play a forward pass, because I know Bernardo Silva would never. But now it is Shirky on the ball. He passes it to Bernardo Silva. He's just attempted a forward pass and completely mishit it. So, yeah, that kind of just proves my point, doesn't it? Shirky wins the ball back. Now it's no, never mind. Bournemouth have the ball again. And now Tavernier is able to run forward, and he's got Brooks in space to his left. And then Brooks plays it inside to Scott. And that's a big save by Donnarumma. Good save. Very, very strong save. Poor defending. That's awful defending. O'Reilly needs to... Now, Vardiol's position in there is awful. Like, I love you, Yoskal, but you've come across and you've left Scott completely unmarked, and then luckily it's a very, very strong save from Donnarumma to deny the Bournemouth striker. But, you know, Bournemouth do have a corner now. And once again, you have Brooks approaching Donnarumma. So hopefully he's a lot stronger here on getting the ball out. Cross comes in. It's headed out by Diaz. Donnarumma's on the floor in his goal. What's going on? The cross comes back in from Tavernier. It's headed partially clear by Yoskal. And then it's claimed by Donnarumma. After some shaky defending from City. And now it's Bernardo Shirky even. Sorry, my bad. Who's lost the ball. And Petrovic now has it. Now, it can't be just me that just looking at this and thinks Shirky or Bernardo Silva kind of like at first glance look very similar on the football pitch. So either that or I need glasses. Hopefully it's not the latter and you guys agree with me. Ball comes in behind for Brooks. It looks like Donnarumma's going to get there first, which he does. We really do need to get control of this game now, because this second half, it's been all Bournemouth. And I'm not a fan of that at all. This first 10 minutes, all Bournemouth. But now it's Foden. He knocks it out to Bernardo Silva, who then knocks it out to Shirky, who's out on the right side. He attacks the right side. He crosses it in, and it's put out for a City corner. Very, very positive stuff there from Shirky, who just instantly took on the defender. Didn't do any of that cutback, none of that cutback stuff that you see, or that nonsense that you see Bob and Savinho do. You've got Diaz having some strong words there with Doku before the corner comes in. Now it's Foden over the corner. Corner comes in. And it's headed straight away by a Bournemouth defender. And it looks to be cleared here by Alex Scott. And it's going to be Donnarumma that claims it. He gets it out to Bernardo Silva now. And now it's Nunez. Now Shirky tries to flick it out to Gonzalez, but he doesn't. But he gets it back to Ryan Shirky. Then goes back to Bernardo. You know, I'd still like to see someone else get on the score sheet here, but if Haaland is the one to score our third and get his hat-trick, I wouldn't complain. But it would be more than ideal for someone else to score here. But, you know, as long as we get a 2-goal lead, I'm going to be too picky. Now here's Doku. Jimenez able to stop him charging into the box, but the foul is going to be given against Jeremy Doku because Jimenez is rolling around on the floor in a heap of pain. Whether he's actually in pain or not is a different story, but I'm going to have to look at the incident again to see how much contact there actually was there. Doku does run. Jimenez just gets himself in front, and yeah, Doku's knee ends up in Jimenez's calf. So, you know, there was contact there to bring him down, but And yeah, it does look like he's actually in some pain here, so I'll cut him some slack. At first I thought he was just trying to buy the foul. But yeah, still City 2, Bournemouth 1. Jimenez is now being walked off the pitch by the physios, so the game can continue. He is taking his sweet time about it, but I will cut him some slack. And if Evan Nilsson is now stripped and ready to come on, whether that is going to be the sub that's made, or there is going to be 2 substitutions, whether there's going to be a like-for-like sub here, or if it is just going to be Evan Nilsson coming on for Jimenez. Petrovic goes long, as you'd imagine him to when his team's down to 10 men. Nico G brings the ball down, doesn't have any options to pass to, so tries to turn on the ball, ends up losing it to David Brooks, who shoots, and it's straight down the throat of Donnarumma, who's able to claim the ball. Here's Nico G again. Diaz. Bernardo. Nunes, Doku, Foden even. I don't know why I said Bernardo there. I knew it was Foden. Foden, Cherki. Yeah, I don't know. Bernardo Silva, Cherki. Got runners ahead of him. Finds Foden in who gets the turn off. Now it's O'Reilly, who looks to shoot. Does shoot! O'Reilly, 3-1. We get our 2-goal lead. We get someone else that's not Haaland on the score sheet. So I'm a very, very happy man. All we need now is a Cherki goal. But that is it. City 3, Bournemouth 1. And that is a very, very well taken chance by O'Reilly there. If it flipping lets me update the blimmin' score. That is. There we go. So yeah, let's look at that one again, because Cherki has the ball, turns, passes it to Foden. Foden looks to lose the ball. Luckily gets a pass off to O'Reilly. He looks like he's aiming up the shot. He has Haaland to his left, but he looks to take the shot, doesn't, hesitates, edges closer towards the box, then does take the shot, gets it through the defender's legs and past Petrovic, and that is 3-1, and that is another goal scorer that's not Erling Haaland scoring in the Premier League for Manchester City. And the last time that happened was against Burnley, and that was, 3 match days ago, I want to say? But yeah. Good goal by O'Reilly, and that is 3-1. So we should be able to see the game out from here. Obviously, nothing's, certain, but yeah. O'Reilly gets his first Premier League goal of the season, and it was a very well taken goal by the lad. Very, very well taken goal. I know Haaland's going to be annoyed that he didn't get played through for his hat-trick, but yeah. And I like that from O'Reilly as well. He took sort of accountability and initiative there to get us the goal, and you don't usually see that from young players, especially young ones that play in defence. So it's a very well taken goal, and Jimenez is now making way in what looks to be a triple substitution here for Bournemouth. Kluivert's coming on, Cook's coming on, and Evan Nilsson's coming on. It looks like it is Brooks making way. I think it's Brooks making way, Jimenez making way, and the French striker, I actually forgot his name. His name's completely slipped my mind, so I'm going to need to wait for the graphic to come up. My apologies. You got Cook as captain now, obviously got sent off here. last season, along with Kovacic, who hopefully doesn't make an appearance today. I'm not too sure if he's on the bench. I can't remember who's on the bench, but as long as I don't see any Kovacic minutes today and the score stays the same, I'm a happy man. Here's Foden. He launches the ball long in search of Doku. It doesn't get there, but the press does force Bournemouth to go long, and Núñez is able to retrieve the ball. And he's able to pump one out to Doku. Then now I think with Cook out there on the in the right back position, they're going to force the ball to Doku now to cause him problems because believe it or not, Lewis Cook's over the age of 30. But yeah, still City 1, still City 3, Bournemouth 1. Shirky now wins the ball back. Now it's Diaz. Nico G, who is being closed down, but still has the ball. And then is apprehended, and it is a free kick because Taylor has again remembered that he is allowed to give free kicks to teams that aren't playing in red, which is always great. So we've reached the hour mark. Well, we're just over the hour mark in 63 minutes. Still no subs for City, but I'm not really complaining. Everyone's playing quite well actually. Obviously, other than that mistake by Donnarumma for the goal, I think we've played quite well today. We got Shirky out here in the right hand side with the ball in the corner. Tries to take the ball around Adams, but hits it off of him and gets a throw in for City. And now it's Bernardo. Foden. Nico G now. Bernardo. Nico. Diaz. The thing is, I want Haaland to get his hat-trick, but I also want Marmoush to get some minutes. So, I don't know what So if Haaland can score within like the next 2-3 minutes, and then Marmoush come on. We do have Rodri warming up, which is always a good thing. We love to see that. Obviously, he made his return in this fixture last season after the ACL injury. Which obviously meant he missed a big part of the season, and it kind of did derail our season. Foden is pulled back there by Scott, and that is going to be given as a free kick. And Scott is going to... At first, I thought he was showing a second yellow to Foden there, and I was about to be like, this is a long, long day. It wasn't Scott, my bad. Was that Scott? No, it was Truffet. Sorry, my bad. He looks nothing like Scott. It's because I was too busy talking at the camera, I think, that I kind of got those two mixed up, which is, Ball's played in behind early to Núñez, but it is dealt with and Petrovic has the ball. Just gotta make sure. I don't want to take my eye off the game, but I just need to make sure all my other settings are all good. Bournemouth come forward now, it's Cliver. He whacks one out to Tavernier, who's got Cook on the overlap. He doesn't use him and starts attacking the City box. He then tries to cut it back to Cook. He does successfully. Now it's whipped out to Truffet, who hits a shot, bobbles it off the ground, and is dealt with by Núñez. That's Núñez, Haaland, Nico G, Foden, Nico G again, who plays it long to Haaland. Haaland does get there, has Doku ahead of him, and Foden. Haaland looks to go alone, plays it to Shirky. Shirky then gets it to Foden, back to Shirky, shoots over the bar. good move by City. Very, very, very good move, and Shirky's unlucky to not get his goal there. But yeah, you look at that again. That's a good ball by Nicker once again. Haaland brings it down. Could have probably played Doku there. Could have played Foden there. Holds on the ball. Plays it to Shirky. Plays a nice 1-2 with Foden, and yeah, he's just unlucky to not be able to keep the ball down there. But yeah, this front four have been cooking today, and you know they've all played exceptionally well. Obviously, Doku doesn't have a goal involvement today, but that doesn't take away from how well he's played in combination with Foden, Haaland, and Shirky today. I think they've all been great, and you know it does show that Savinho and Bob are going to have a lot of work cut out for them to get back into this squad, along with Marmoush as well. But I think Marmoush is sort of more likely to get minutes over the other two, so that's why his name wasn't like initially thrown into that conversation. Still no substitutions for City though as we approach the 70th minute mark. Cross comes in, and it does go over the bar. Was it forced over by Donnarumma? It was, so it will be a corner. I don't know if that really needed a touch. Let me just look at that again. So he sees Donnarumma off his line, just a... I'm not too sure. But you got Scott over the corner doing his best Jamie Tartt impression. Then the corner comes in again. This time it's dealt with by Erling Haaland, but it is headed out only as far as Scott, who then passes it all the way back. Bournemouth now have the ball in their own half. The ball's played over the top. Foden has it back now. So does O'Reilly. Now it's Shirky. Tries a nice little roulette inside, but he is dispossessed. We do have... Is that Alex Scott? Someone was on the floor there. I'm not too sure who that was. Bernardo Silva tries to win the ball back, but it's still Tyler Adams. Plays it to Scott. Now it's Cook. Adams. The ball's played over the top for Traffert to run onto, but Nunes does well with it and then stops it going out for a corner and plays it out for a Bournemouth throw-in. Semenya plays it round Shirky, then gets the cross in. Tavernier gets a touch on it, and it looked, for a split second, it looked like he beat Donnarumma and it was going in, but it does go just wide of the post. I think O'Reilly does well to make sure that Tavernier doesn't get clean contact on that and diverts it into the goal. I think he does really, really well. Yeah, he gets across just in time to sort of close the angle for Tavernier to get a clear effort off on goal. Ball's played forward to Nunes. It's not able to get there. Bournemouth have the ball back with Petrovic. But yeah, no, it's been, obviously, the start of the second half was shaky and it was all Bournemouth. But we definitely, again, grew into the second half, a lot like we did with the first half. And we should comfortably see out this game. Obviously, touch wood, of course, because I don't want to jinx it. Cook launches the ball forward for Evan Nilsson. Is he offside? Yeah, I was about to say, is Vardiel not dealt with that and just let him run through, but it has been blown as offside against Evan Nilsson, who I also think is quite a good player, actually. So, right. So we are making subs now. Vinders is coming on, and unfortunately Savinho's coming on. So any hopes of us seeing out the game in a nice fashion have went out the window, because he's going to be playing playing at absolute like 100 miles per hour. I would prefer to see Doku go off instead of Shirky, but I don't think I'd be too mad either way. But I have my preferences for what subs would be made, and hopefully it's Bernardo Silva that makes way for Tijani Reinders. Shirky, Bernardo Silva, But that's not to say Bernardo's not been good today, because I think Bernardo's been very, very good today. And I thought he's actually had a decent redemption season after that. There's absolute car crash of a season that he had last season. I think he's been a lot better this year. But obviously, there's still a long way to go, and it's Semenyo carrying the ball forward, who is being boxed in here by Nunes and Bernardo, and it is seen out for a City throw-in. There's good work there from both the Portuguese men down on that right side. So yep, a number 11 for number 26. So Doku is coming off for Savinho, and Shirky is coming off for Vinders. So just give me 2 seconds. Oh, that's not went well. I've ignore that. And that should all be good. And then you've got Alex Scott coming on for Christie's. Haaland now. It's brought down by the Bournemouth defender instead. Bournemouth have the ball. It's having it. Christie's. Unless Haaland scores again here, I think Shirky's my man of the match 100%. Speaking that, Haaland's almost just had the chance to run through on goal, but it was dealt with well by the Bournemouth defence. Cook, Tavernier, Tyler Adams. So around 15 minutes of the game left. It's still City 1, City 3, Bournemouth 1. Don't know why I keep getting the numbers mixed up, but you know, here we are. It's Donnarumma now on the ball. Picks it up and he's probably going to throw it out to Vardiol here, I think. He is booked, so he can't take too long on the ball. It goes long to Haaland. Haaland knocks it down. Foden can't get there, and Bournemouth do have the ball back. And that's Tavernier. Now it's Semenyo. He plays it inside to Cook, then plays it forward to Tavernier. Then goes all the way back to Christie's. Adams skips past the challenger of Bernardo, and now it's back out to Trifet. The cross comes in for Bournemouth. It's aimed at Evan Nilsson. It's dealt with by O'Reilly, and then Foden touches it down. He looks to pass to Donnarumma. That angle's closed. He's forced out wide, and then chips it forward to Haaland, who brings it down nicely. Has the beating of one Bournemouth defender, and he can keep running, Erling Haaland. He gets it out to Savinho. Savinho skips into the box and then runs straight into Trifet, and Bournemouth have the ball back. Well, I don't know if I was expecting any more from Savinho there, but you know, it was good work by Haaland. Very, very good work for him to get us into that position. Does say that Bournemouth do have the second most amount of goals between the 76th minute and the 90th minute this season, so that is something, and I think it was with 6, only behind Brighton and Liverpool. So that is definitely something we have to keep in mind here, especially as we are known to get complacent when we have the lead. Good block by Diaz, and now it's Nunes to bring it out. He goes out wide to Savinho. Who gets it back, who passes it back to Gonzalez. He finds Bernardo Silva. And gets it to Savinho. Foden. Nunes. Diaz. Nunes. Nico G tries to bundle his way through, but is then dispossessed. The pass through is blocked by Diaz. And then one back, and now it's Vinders. He's got Savinho to his right. He does find Savinho. He can run at the Bournemouth defenders here, but he's just running at a slow jog. He gets it back to Vinders. Vinders can charge into the box. Vinders can shoot, it's deflected, and will go out for a City corner. Kind of wanted him to pass to Foden there, if I'm being completely honest, but you know, it's Vinders. When 9 times out of 10 when you see him on the edge of the box, he's going to take the shot. Haaland is still on the pitch though, so there is still time for him to get his hat trick. And I haven't seen much movement from Marmoush on the bench to suggest that he's coming off. Foden again out for the corner. Adams is down on the floor, injured with what I'm going to guess is cramp. So it does give me time to check. Ball on here. Oh no, he did get the ball absolutely blasted at his kneecap, and that, from experience, I can tell you that does actually hurt. So again, fair play to him for going down for that. I'm not going to criticise him too much. He is back up on his feet now. As he limps off of the pitch. And now here's another substitution for Bournemouth. There's number 12 coming off for number 11. I'm not actually 100% sure on those numbers. It is Adams coming off, and then it is Ben Dokes coming up. I completely forgot he was at Bournemouth, if I'm being totally honest. So yeah, Adams off and Ben Dokes on. Foden is now able to take the corner. I'm going to guess it's going to go straight into Petrovic's hands though, so I'm not expecting much. It is whipped in. Vardiol gets closest to it. It is punched clear by Petrovic, and then Savinho misplaces the cross, but it's won back by Vinders. Tries to find Haaland moving back post, doesn't. Now it's Foden, Diaz, and now Bournemouth can break with Dokes. Semenyo now. Brilliant tackle by Vardiol to win the ball, but then there's a mix-up between him and O'Reilly, and Bournemouth get it back with Christie's. Cook. Christie's. Tavernier. Goes all the way back. So 10 minutes left of additional play. So a minimum of 10 minutes left in this game. It is still City 3, Bournemouth 1. I got it correct that time. Hope to hear a round of applause from everybody. Christie's now. He finds it out to Dokes, who then tries to pass it back. There's no one there to pick it up, and it's Foden that can run away with it. Then cuts back, and then is clattered into by Ben Dokes, and that will be given as a foul. And then the final substitution, well, not the final, the third substitution, shall I say, Erling Haaland is leaving the pitch for number 7, Omar Marmoush. So Haaland won't get his hat-trick, but Omar Marmoush does get his minutes. We will just see a repeat of those Haaland goals now. Getting cold celebration for the first one, and then second one is just a nice little round of the keeper. Does almost break the advertising board though. And then yeah, obviously he was unlucky to not get his hat trick. There you go, we got Omar Mamouche on for the last like 10 or so minutes. So yeah, with Haaland off the pitch now, I would probably say that I would give my man of the match to Shirky. Obviously, Haaland again has played very well in all phases of the pitch, and I think Nico G has been exceptional in the midfield and showed exactly what we missed from him last week. Vinders has completely missed the ball there. Nico again, he looks up, does see the run of Marmouche, but he sees it a little too late and has to go to Savinho instead. Now it's Bernardo Silva. Savinho. Nunes. I think Nunes has been quite good as well, but I was hesitant to say that earlier because, again, he's always prone to a huge lapse in judgment, which could cost us the game. So I don't like to praise Nunes during the game because I know anything can happen when it comes to him. He is a bit of a loose cannon. But 83 minutes now on the clock, and I think it's a City corner. No, it's not. I don't know what's going on. I can just see Pep. Oh no, it was a goal kick. My bad. I couldn't remember who the ball last came off from. If I'm 100% honest. Bernardo Silva has now just committed a foul, and it's going to be a Bournemouth free kick. It instantly goes back to Petrovic, who tries to spearhead a counter-attack by getting out to Cook. But he just pings his pass straight into Foden, and it bounces out for a Bournemouth throw-in again. Christie's. Trofeo. Cook. Tavernier. That's Dokes. Down to the side of him, doesn't use him, goes inside to Cliver instead. Now Dokes gets the ball with acres of space. Plays it back to Cook, who gets the cross in. Donnarumma looks to go for it, doesn't. Vardiol gets there instead. Marmouche tries to bring the ball out, but doesn't get there first. Now it's Christie's on the edge of the City box, tries to skip inside, passes the ball straight into Nunes, who can hopefully bring this ball out. Savinho, Marmouche. Savinho now with green gas to run into, and there's nobody up there. Oh, no, there is. There's Vinders now up there with him. So's Foden. He just got one defender to beat, and of course he doesn't beat him. What's the point? What is the point in having him on the pitch? I haven't seen him do anything. He doesn't even take it to the corner either. He's been easily dispossessed up the pitch in an area where he could have at least wasted time. But no, he shows the defender too much the ball and gets dispossessed at the first hurdle that he encounters. That's poor again from Savinho. And I'm not really happy with that at all. Cross comes in, dealt with by O'Reilly. Only as far as Tavernier there. Gets it to Cook. Now back to Tav. 85 minutes on the clock now. Still 3-1. Now it's Cliver. Gets out to Dokes, who goes back to Cook. Now it's Dokes. So you just need to get the ball here and just keep it instead of letting them probe around our box. Cross comes into Evan Nilsson. Vardiol does enough, and then Donnarumma is able to claim it. Now there's been, I don't know what's just happened, but I've just looked up and Donnarumma's on the floor. But it looks like Cliver's being booked for a foul on Donnarumma. Donnarumma looks to throw the ball, and Kluivert's jumped in front of it. There's a drop kick, which is, and that sees Justin Kluivert go into the book. Now it's just about killing the game out. I don't even care about going for a fourth goal at this point. It's just about seeing the game out now, not doing anything stupid. Now it's Savinho, so I can't count on there not being anything stupid happen. He has beat his man. He's got into the box. He's found Marmoush, and Marmoush hits the ball into the side netting. I was almost made to eat my words then with Savinho getting an assist. That was a good run, to be fair. That was a lot better than what he did just a minute ago. This time he's direct, takes the ball to the byline, cuts the ball across. Marmoush gets there, but just the angle's not big enough for him to squeeze the ball between Petrovic and the near post, and it goes out for a goal kick. Now it's Dokes on the ball. He cuts inside and sizes up. O'Reilly gets the cross in, but is instantly blocked by Vardio, and now it's out for another Bournemouth throw-in. And I tell you what, Dokes has been lively since coming on the pitch. And Bournemouth probably could have done him with him earlier in the game, because they weren't really using Tavernier too much when he was out there by himself. Now it's Semenyo. He runs at Nunez. Nunez wins the ball though with a very, very strong tackle, and then is fouled by Semenyo and wins a free kick. So that should be that, hopefully. We shouldn't be in for any more surprises. We have Rodri and Aït-Nouri coming on now. So we've got Aït-Nouri coming on for Foden. And I think that was... I think that is Diaz that is going to be our captain now, I assume. So that is all changed for the final time. For the final time, I've just completely closed the game and I can't see what's going on. So that's all my fault. That's stupid from me. But yeah, Rodri gets to see 5 minutes out on the pitch, and you can't complain really. Marmoush, Aït-Nouri, and Rodri all getting minutes after coming back from injury. Cherki comes back from injury, gets 2 assists today after getting a goal and assist midweek. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. And Donnarumma kicks the free kick long. We are now in the 90th minute, and we're probably going to expect something like 5 added minutes again, just like the same in the first half. Vinders is on the ball here. Now it's O'Reilly, Rodri, Vinders, Rodri. Where is Aït-Nouri playing? So does that mean is O'Reilly in the middle now? Oof. But tell you what, I'm now watching a midfield of Vinders, Rodri, and Nico. So this is prime, like, this is prime not wanting to concede a goal here from Pep. Aït-Nouri picks the ball up. He finds Vinders. He then goes to Savinho. Savinho gets it back to Vinders. Now it's Aït-Nouri, who I think might be playing in midfield. I'm not really too sure. He's just occupying, like, he's just in all the pockets. He's definitely not a left back. I think O'Reilly's still a left back. And you've got Aït-Nouri just roaming around in the pockets up top for the last 4 minutes. Evanilson does have the ball, but is ruled offside, and it's going to be a Manchester City free kick to end to probably end off the game here. We've got 3 minutes of additional time left. Still City 3, Bournemouth 1. 23 touches today for Haaland, 6 shots and 2 goals. So not too shabby for the big man himself. He's going to be happy with that one. As he sits alongside John Stones and Ake on the bench. That's a very poor pass from Rodri. And now it's Tavernier, who's got Dokes ahead of him. The deflected shot, and it's going to be a corner for Bournemouth. Oh yeah, that was a very, very poor pass from Rodri there from that free kick. Very, very poor. So we've got Bournemouth corner now. Clivert to take it. Still City 3, Bournemouth 1. Corner comes in. It's dealt with by Diaz. Comes out to Cook. Now it's Dokes, who looks to go round Marmouche. Now it's Tavernier, who looks to try get a crossing into the box, but he goes back to Dokes, who then cuts it back to Christie's, who whips across back stick. It is dealt with by Nunes, and it is seen out for a goal kick. So that should be that. Unless we want to give away the ball away sloppily again, that should be that, and the game should end 3-1 here for City. And I think I'm actually quite surprised with our performance today. I wasn't expecting us to be as good as we have. Obviously, we haven't been perfect, and there is definitely still things that I'm gonna pick out in my reaction video. But yeah, I think it's been a decent performance on the whole for City here. O'Reilly absolutely flattens Dokes, and it will be given as a free kick, and they are both down hurt here. And that did not look a comfortable landing for either of them. O'Reilly will be the first to get on his feet. Oh, no, he's not even on his feet, really. Yeah, that's... Oof. Oof. Yeah, that's not comfortable for either of them. That's sore. That's a sore one. So you've got the two young lads. Both the young lads are back on their feet now, so the game is back underway. And it is Savinho on the ball. And he does have the bearer of Traffert. He tries to get the cross in. Ooh, good shot by Vinders, but it's beaten away by Petrovic. And now it's Rodri who gets it back to O'Reilly. He's got no passes on forward, so it goes back to Donnarumma. 1 minute of added time left to play here at the Etihad. Still City 3, Bournemouth 1. But now Aït-Nouri has the ball, and he is charging forward. But he has to cut back. He's got no passes ahead of him. Now it's Nico. Aït-Nouri. And he just goes back to O'Reilly. And who finds Rodri? And then Rodri passes it to Diaz. And then Diaz out to Vinders. And then Vinders can get a cross in, and it is blocked, and it will go out for a corner. One last City corner. Let's look at this shot again from him. Yeah, he gets good power on it. It is curving a little bit, but it is pretty simple for Petrovic to deal with, but it was a decent shot. And it's going to be Vinders on the corner. Passes it to Savinho. And the whistle is blown there. Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 1 as your final score for today's game. I think that was a pretty decent performance. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, I think that was a good game there from City. Again, wasn't the best, and I think after this stream, after I end the stream, I'm going to go record my reaction video to this game, where I'm going to discuss the game in a bit more detail than I probably have here. I'm just going to give myself a few minutes to just go over my thoughts, and then just compact them into a good video. But you know, thanks to everyone that's come and joined the stream, like the stream. You know, I really do appreciate it. But make sure, if you are still here, to be here Wednesday. We're going to go live at 7:30 p.m. We're going to go live at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday for Manchester City taking on Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. So if you enjoyed this stream, make sure you subscribe and tune in for that stream. But yeah, thank you guys for